This is Peter Morosky, the nurse, and today I want to talk about my ideas for Marvel Zombies of Season 2. First of all, Bucky Barnes is the new lead character, not Miss Marvel, because Miss Marvel kind of run her course as a main character in the last season, in my opinion. And also because of Bucky's of his military background and his combat knowledge and leadership skills. And perhaps for the last 5 years of the zombie outbreak, he has been planning his final battle with War Machine. Like I said, my other Marvel Zombie episode, we have not seen or been referenced of War Machine in this universe yet, so it's entirely possible he's still alive. And perhaps after Wanda threw Bucky away in that original Marvel Zombie What If episode, he came back to the base and collected Vision's body. And him and War Machine have been building up for the last 5 years as White Vision to use against Wanda. Because as we saw in the original Marvel Zombie episode, somehow Wanda is still able to recognize Vision, so this could be an effective weapon to use against Wanda. And by this point, Bucky isn't the Winter Soldier anymore. He is the new Captain America. That's right. With the other candidates, Falcon, John Walker, and Steve Rogers all dead, either turned into zombies and been killed, or just plain killed in their human forms. Bucky is the only one worthy to step up to the plate and take up the role. And let's face it, people have been wanting to see Bucky Barnes step into the role of Captain America for years, so this could be the best chance to do so and give fans a taste of Bucky as Captain America. And perhaps during the final battle, they can have him in a new armored Captain America outfit, and he throws the shield and cuts the head off of multiple zombies at once. And he comes back, and the shield comes back, and he just wipes the blood off like a freaking releasing so much aura. Something they should have had Steve Rogers do instead of landing in the middle of a bridge, which I still find that stupid. If you want to know my full thoughts on that, please check out my freaking original Marvel Zombie video I did a while ago. And as a reference to Bucky's fight with Steve in the original Marvel Zombie episode, and Red Guardian's fight with the zombie Steve Rogers, maybe you can have Bucky as the new Captain America fight the zombie Red Guardian. Now that would be an awesome fan fight. I mean, let's face it, you have the new Captain America, Bucky Barnes, going against the zombie Red Guardian. Now that would be a really sick fight. And you can have War Machine up in the air blasting hordes of zombies with his lasers, missiles, and everything. And if some zombies somehow manage to get to him and they bite him, their teeth break on the armor, leaving him completely unharmed. Something they should have done with Iron Man. Something, again, check out my other video if you want to know my why I think that was completely stupid what they did with Iron Man in this universe. So now for my boy, my favorite superhero, Spider-Man. Well, we know it looks like he was about to be eaten by Hope or Wasp, what you want to call it, at the end of season 1, where you see him, he's his hand like this, and he's about to bite his head off. And my idea is just before that happens, just before Hope takes a bite out of Peter's head. Khonshu, I think, I can't have trouble saying his name. Khonshu, I'm gonna say that. I'm just gonna call him Khan from now on because that's a lot easier for me. Khan the God saves Peter's life, and since Blade is dead, Spider-Man is the new avatar of the Khonshu God, and becomes the Arachno Knight. Now this would be really sick. And now we know Spider-Man on his own, not holding back, is incredibly dangerous. We know how powerful. If you're a fan of Spider-Man like me, you know how powerful this guy is on his own when he stops holding back. But with this, like as the Arachno Knight, and this brother would be damn near unstoppable. His spider sense combined with the wisdom of a god, telling him what's going on. There is no zombie is sneaking up on this dude. The freaking no way. But that he killed them. He sensed the zombies and killed them before they even get close to him. And once again, I would just have Spider-Man go all out. Like don't get me wrong. I love as you know, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and I want to see a scenario where Spider-Man just stops holding back and he goes completely all out and he shows his entire power, and just start wrecking mofos like they're nothing. That's what a lot of Spider-Man fans want to see, right? And it would be, and this would be a fun thing. This is something I think some fans would like to see, including myself. Ooh, sorry. And it would be cool to see him kill zombie J. Jonah Jameson. Jameson. Now that would be funny. Like everyone knows that Peter gets annoyed with how Jameson calls him a menace and all that. You can have this scenario where Spider-Man can kill Jameson, but it's entirely justified. You don't have to worry about anything. He can just rip Jonah's head off, and that would be a cool find. Like, finally, Spider-Man. Fans can see Spider-Man gets karma with this guy. You know what I mean? And it would be cool, and also and perhaps since this is an alternative universe, perhaps there's no Michelle Jones in this specific universe. You could have like a real Mary Jane Watson that Peter saved, like a real Mary Jane Watson, or a Black Cat. You could have Black Cat, like you can showcase Black Cat, like show what Black Cat could be in this universe, kind of like how they did with Blade. And unfortunately, that new Blade movie was cancelled. Yeah, I don't want to get into that. This could be like a real taste of what Black Cat could be in the MCU. So this would get, and you got to give. Come on, Peter's been stuck in the zombie thing for 5 years now. So you got to give Peter some kind of action, some action aside from killing zombies, right? So that would be really nice for him. Now Hulk. Now my idea for Hulk is that after as we saw, he was drained by Wanda and he was weakened, obviously. But my idea is Ghost Rider finds him and takes him to hell because Ghost Rider has perhaps had enough of the zombies. Like, he's sick of it. He's sick of all the zombies. And now Ghost Rider takes Hulk to the deepest part of hell and gives him the purest gamma radiation. And Hulk absorbs so much, it freaking turns him into something entirely different. And as we know in the comics, gamma comes right is like a magical thing from hell. And Hulk absorbs it, and so you can have him absorb this, and whatever little power of the science was left in him after Wanda drained him, perhaps this works that gives a spark again, and this radiation combined with that, as it just makes Hulk even more powerful. They give like a world breaker Hulk, or perhaps a universe breaking Hulk. And of course, and my idea is enjoying the final showdown when it seems like everything is lost. Hulk and Ghost Rider burst out from, you can hear the characters, they're like, oh, what the hell's going on? And all of a sudden, Hulk and Ghost Rider just come out from the depths of hell and just burst out of the freaking ground. And you see Hulk in his new form, like dark green and with dark green flames. These glowing dark green flames just coming off of him, like showing his aura. Like, just thinking about that Hulk like that gives me the willies. Ooh, and you can call this like a real devil demon Hulk, right? And of course, and then the one that sends like an army of zombies, like you can have, let's say 5,000 zombies, charge at them at once, and Hulk just stands there like you saw in the original Marvel Zombie, as new season 1, and Hulk just freaking does one thunderclap and he obliterates the whole freaking 5,000 zombie army. That would be so sick. And of course another 1,000 charge, and of course Ghost Rider tells Hulk to leave these ones to him, and the Ghost Rider hops on his bike and hops on his bike and charges towards him, takes his chain and uses his full power, and just two simple strikes. He freaking takes his chain and just freaking swings the whole zombie army, and he rides through the horde. And because he's from the hell and he's demonic, the virus can't affect him. He just rides through the blood, but before the blood kind of like hits him in the face, we know it can't affect him, but just before the blood goes into his face, the blood turns to ash, and Ghost Rider just rides through it, just rides through it, like showing off his aura. Like, come on, you got to admit that would be a pretty sick scene to watch. You have to admit that. And as we know, Icarus has been fighting the zombie Captain Marvel for 5 years. Like, I give credit to Icarus for doing that, because you got to be really powerful to fight for literally 5 years without stopping at all. So, but perhaps we get to see Hulk versus Captain Marvel, or Sentry versus Captain Marvel. Yes, you can have a play out similar. You can play out with either character. I'm going to play my scenario with both of the characters. You can imagine either one, okay? So you can either have Captain Marvel charge at either one of them, and she gives everything she's got at either Hulk or Sentry, and perhaps after Captain Marvel's done everything, punching or whatever, and munching or whatever, and after she's done, either one of them looks at her just imagine it's either one, right? So just imagine either one. If she fights either one by herself, and perhaps, but in each situation, Hulk or Sentry just look at her like, nah, just like nah, and like perhaps they smile like that Hulk did in the one comic where Captain Marvel beat him up, and Hulk just smiles and just freaking beats her up. And in this scenario, Captain Marvel gets enraged, or was it the virus affecting her brain even more, and Captain Marvel charges at Hulk or Sentry, either one you want, either one. And either one, they take one punch and they punch her face so hard that her head just pops up like a balloon, and it sends her body straight through the freaking atmosphere, blowing through the Nova Corps, and just leaving what's left, if there's anything left of her corpse, what's left of her corpse through the atmosphere, just let it floating around out there. And showing how beyond either Hulk and Sentry are from Captain Marvel and Icarus. And Hulk or Sentry just end the fights that Icarus has been fighting for 5 years in a blink of an eye. So I think you can have that scenario with either Hulk or Sentry. Both would be sick. If I had to pick one, it's hard to choose, but I would probably favor Hulk in that scenario. Now, as for the fight against Wanda, you can have Captain America and Miss Marvel cutting the zombies down, and Wanda's about to finish them off, and White Vision comes along. And White Vision comes along and catches her off guard, and he tells her that this whole zombie thing, this whole freaking thing has to end. Right? Has to end, meaning she has to die because she's like we found out, she can't be cured. Like no matter what you do, she can't be cured. So, and she has to die, and obviously she gets pissed off. And just when she attacks, he gets hurt pretty badly because maybe Vision still has like those weird obsession or feelings for Wanda somehow. He lets himself just get bashed up a bit. No, not taking too much damage. Like just knocks him out a bit. And then you can have Sentry come in, and they perhaps tag team up. They can start hitting with their visions and all that kind of stuff. That would be pretty sick. And her trying to deflect it, that would be pretty sick. And they get good hits in, and Wanda gets just a lucky shot, just one lucky shot on Sentry, one lucky Sentry, and kills Sentry. But then he goes into the void mode, and he just takes her to the void, and just takes her to the void, and it messes up her pretty badly. Even though she's a zombie, she still messes up while she's in there. And then Miss Marvel, Bucky, and Vision are able to get the cure, whatever the cure is. I'm sure that I think Ironheart had like a cure at the end of season 1. Being honest, I would have Ironheart be one of the characters that gets killed off because I don't like it. I would just have War Machine instead. So, and then they somehow able to get the cure, and they spread it worldwide. And of course, Wanda, because of her freaking like teleportation magic and all that kind of stuff, Wanda is able to get back. And since she was in the void, she was still a zombie. Like even though she probably wouldn't get cured. But like I said, she couldn't get cured. The Vision couldn't cure her. So why would this cure her? So it's like either way, she's still a zombie. And when she's about to affect more people, it's like to get her freaking army again, Miss Marvel traps her in like her those little energy fields that she has. And they use her to perhaps drain her some of Wanda's power away from her, or whatever the void didn't do to it, something like that. And they have Sentry transport the power to the void, to a void where it can't cause any more damage. Like that's too much power. They take it away and they send it somewhere else. So no one should ever have this kind of power. And of course, Wanda tries to trick Miss Marvel again, like she did at the end of season 1. But perhaps this time, Miss Marvel, you can have a scene where it looks like Miss Marvel's considering it, taking the offer again, and you can have Wanda start to have like a little zombie grinnish smile. But then Miss Marvel just goes, nah, not this time, bitch. And of course, Wanda gets pissed, and before she could bite Miss Marvel, Bucky blocks it with his metal arm, not his human arm, like a complete idiot would, like with his metal arm. And Wanda breaks her teeth and then cuts her head off with Cap Shield. Because you got to remember, like I said this before in I said this in another video I did, Wanda just has the durability of a normal human, so realistically she would not have been able to survive what Thor did to her in the first season, but perhaps they can bring that back since she's been drained of all the power. Perhaps she just has she's basically just a normal person now, and Bucky's able to freaking like I said, get his metal arm with it, and she breaks her teeth trying to bite him. And then Bucky takes Cap's shield and just cuts her head off. And the 5-year zombie nightmare is over. And it ends with the new Avengers team. And for my new Avengers team, in this alternate universe, Captain America, obviously, Bucky Barnes, the new Captain America, Spider-Man as the Arachno Knight. I'd probably still have him as the Arachnite because that's just a sick combination. You can have Hulk, and perhaps after the whole thing is over, Hulk, like, the Ghost Rider takes the powers back because it's no longer needed, and takes the powers and puts them back into hell or something, and Hulk just goes back to being normal again. But still pretty powerful though. Then you have War Machine, obviously, because you got to have a guy like him on the team, like a head of military, all that kind of stuff. Miss Marvel, because at the end of, as Thor made her an Avenger in the last season, it'd be nice to have her as an official member of this new Avengers team in this universe. Then you can have Sentry, White Vision, and perhaps if hypothetically Scott Lang, because I can't really say it would be kind of pointless to kill Scott Lang because he was cured in the original episode and he survived perhaps near towards the end of season 1, so it would make sense to have him in here. And perhaps you could have Black Widow. And I know people think, oh, nah, she's a zombie, she can't be on the team. Well, we never really see much of her. The only time we see her was on that bridge, and we don't see her get bitten. Perhaps she was infected, but perhaps she's cured, and she could be like a new member of the team. Maybe she could be a member of the new Avengers team again. Who knows? And who knows? And maybe they could have used her as an experiment to create a new cure. So they test the cure. So maybe they could have cured her, and she could have been part of the final battle, and she's part of the Avengers again. You could do that. And yeah, that's pretty much my new Avengers team. I think that's a pretty solid team if you ask me. And obviously Ghost Rider would go back to hell, and Icarus probably leave the planet because his mission was just to hold Captain Marvel off or kill her. And since Captain Marvel's dead, the whole zombie thing is resolved. He goes back to the freaking whatever his bosses are or whatever, goes back to them, and then just leaves Earth, and then it has a bittersweet ending, even though they've lost a lot of people like Steve, Tony, and all that kind of stuff, Thor, all that kind of stuff. They are able to end the virus once and for all, and they can get things back on the right track again. And also to never go into the quantum realm ever again, because that's what caused this whole mess. And so those are my ideas for Marvel Zombies season 2. Oh, just one more thing. You could also have, and during this, you could also have Star-Lord, Drax, and Mantis, and Nebula in this because they were in space at the time. You could have them like team up with these new Avengers against the zombie horde because they would still be alive in this timeline, and they probably want to get revenge for what happened to Rocket and Groot and when they got blasted by Thanos. And maybe Stella wants to get justice for Gamora because she was killed because this kind of followed the Infinity War timeline where Thanos killed her for the Soul Stone. So you could have the what's left of the guys in this season as well. So this has been Peter Morosky, the Nerdstar. And if you like this, please like and subscribe. And if you want to know why my thoughts on the original Marvel Zombie episode and why it made no sense for how the Avengers got taken down so easily, please check it out over here, please. Thank you and have a great day.